Today we're doing a double chocolate gluten-free zucchini bread. I know that there are some people that will say nothing with zucchini in it tastes good, but I bred to differ. Yeah, I'm not giving up on the dad puns. No. So again, today I've got my drink, I'm ready to bake. It's a wonderful day. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Before we get started, let's go over the ingredients that you're going to need to make this recipe. The first is going to be 1 3/4 cups of gluten-free flour. Gluten-free flour is not made the same. It's very important to start small and add in. So if you're using like a 1-to-1 for flour, you may only need 1.5 cups. So just add in 1 cup and slowly add the flour until you get your desired texture. You're also going to need a 1/2 cup of chocolate chips. I used a vegan brand because there's less additives in it. 1/3 cup of unsweetened cocoa powder. 1/3 cup of melted coconut oil. 2 eggs. A 1/2 cup of pure maple syrup. Please do not use the fake syrup. You don't want anything that's super sugar filled or with a bunch of corn syrup. You only want to use pure maple syrup for this recipe. 1/3 cup of unsweetened coconut milk. 1.5 teaspoons of gluten-free vanilla extract. 1 teaspoon of baking soda. A 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And last but not least, you definitely need a zucchini. You'll notice that I cut off one end of the zucchini and I left the stem portion. I use that while I'm grating it just so that I have a little bit more leverage and I can get a little bit closer to the grater. You'll also need a standard loaf pan, a large bowl, a whisk, a wooden spoon, and then you'll see that I have a smaller bowl. The reason why I lined it with the paper towels is because overall, as you're grating the zucchini, you need to get the water out and you need to make sure that it doesn't make your bread crumble and it's not too water filled. So we'll be grating the zucchini, putting it in this bowl and squeezing all the water out before we add it into the batter. You'll also need a box grater. Get your oven preheated to 350 degrees. Let's go ahead and grate the zucchini. You'll notice that I did not remove the skin from the zucchini. That is an unnecessary step. Don't cause yourself extra work. Just leave it on and grate it as is. Now what I love about the box grater is I can just drop it right into the middle of my bowl. So I'm just going to transfer over as much as I can of this zucchini. Watch your fingers. You could even use a knife to help you with this step in the process. Now that the zucchini is in the bowl, we're going to squeeze out all of the water and make sure that we remove as much as possible. It's okay, you do not have to be gentle. The zucchini is not gonna break whatsoever. Just make sure you're squeezing out as much of the water as you can. You can also use a cheesecloth for this step. Look at all that liquid that's come out. And the entire paper towel is completely saturated. So we'll squeeze a little bit more and then I'm going to dump this and start this process all over again with new paper towels. When you're squeezing it and you notice that the paper towel isn't getting as saturated, that's when you'll know it's ready. We've placed our zucchini off to the side. Now we're going to mix the dry ingredients. In a large bowl, you're going to combine the gluten-free flour, the unsweetened cocoa powder, the baking soda, and the salt. You definitely want to whisk this until all of the ingredients are well blended together. You are able to see the difference in the texture specifically because the unsweetened cocoa powder is a different color. So you're able to see once it turns like a light brown and it's well mixed and you don't see any dark spots, you'll know that that's when the texture is right. So that is the texture that you're looking for. It smells so good already. I can't wait to add the other ingredients in. Now for these wet ingredients, almost all of them are in the refrigerator. The way that this recipe turns out the best is actually to have them closer to room temperature. Let them sit out for a little while. It's not going to make them go bad, but it is going to help with the rising of your bread. Get the eggs put into this bowl. Then you're going to add the maple syrup, vanilla, and the milk. I always like to get these ingredients whisked together a little bit before I add the oil in. So go ahead and mix those ingredients very carefully. You'll notice that I slowly add the oil. And it didn't solidify, so you see it's still a really consistent texture. That's perfect. That's exactly what you want it to be. We're almost down to the finish line with this batter. So we're going to combine the wet and dry ingredients. Gently fold these ingredients together until you get a nice smooth texture. At that point, we're going to add in the zucchini and the chocolate chips. So you're going to notice that this mixture is still a little bit lumpy. To get rid of any of the lumps, I am going to go back through with the whisk just to try and break up some of those chunks. That'll give it a much smoother consistency. Look at that texture. It's so much less bumpy. This is exactly what you're looking for. Now that this is at the consistency that we need it to be, we want to go ahead and add in the zucchini, and then we want to save the chocolate chips for last. So take those zucchini shreds and add about half of them to this mixture. We're just going to stir it up, and we'll add the other half in just a moment. And you want the zucchini to be well incorporated into this mixture. Now you'll notice this is a very thick consistency. It doesn't smooth out as well once the zucchini is added in. That's how you want it, because you don't want all of the chocolate chips to fall to the bottom of the pan. We're going to add in the chocolate chips at this point. How cute are these little guys? I love them. I found that the mini chocolate chips work better in this recipe than the full-size chocolate chips. This is just a preference of mine. You can do whatever kind of chocolate chips that you'd like. The batter is ready to go. Grab your loaf pan. We're going to add the batter in. Now I did use some parchment paper on this just because it does help get it out of the loaf pan a little bit easier. This is so exciting. We're ready to go. Let's get this sucker popped in the oven, and we'll be back as soon as it's done. The zucchini bread is going to cook at 350 degrees for approximately 50 to 60 minutes. Just like with previous bread recipes that I've done, make sure you take a toothpick and stick it in the middle. If it comes out clean, that's how you know it's ready to go. I just took the chocolate zucchini bread out of the oven. It's looking great. You don't want to actually slice this until after you've removed it from the pan. We're going to give this about 2 more minutes. We'll get it onto the wire rack to cool, and then we'll slice it up so you can see the inside. You've had the opportunity to see the double chocolate gluten-free zucchini bread. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a like, comment, or subscribe to my channel. Also give me a thumbs up if you've watched this far. Have a good day. We'll see you next week.